We did it. It's the year 2022, and we're banning books, including ones considered classics, like Toni Morrison's The Bluest Eye. According to the American Library Association, as of August 2022, there have been some 681 challenges involving some 1,651 books, up from 273 books in 2020 and 566 in 2019. FYI, a challenge is when a person or group requests that a book be removed from a library. Last November, the ALA put out a statement on the topic. In it, they argued that a few organizations have decided that the voices of the marginalized have no place on library shelves. Under the guise of calling these books subversive or immoral, the ALA argues, these groups have promoted government censorship by appealing to elected and non-elected officials and even resorting to intimidation tactics, targeting library workers, educators, and school board members. Why do we keep banning books? For our purposes, a banned book is a book that has been removed from a public library or a school. A challenged book is one that someone has requested be removed. So book banning isn't a new phenomenon, with recent decades seeing bans on children's novels like Bridge to Terabithia and Harry Potter, as well as classics like John Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men and Maya Angelou's I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. According to librarian and author Richard Ovenden, the significance of books and archival material is recognized not only by those who wish to protect knowledge, but also by those who wish to destroy it. He notes that libraries and archives have been targets of attack throughout history. Book burning first made it to America in 1650, when Massachusetts Puritans seized a pamphlet written by William Pynchon. Massachusetts seems to have a particular urge to burn or ban books. Flash forward to the 1920s, and you'll find Boston's elite-filled Watch and Ward Society mobilized to remove a series of books from libraries and schools. Petitioning libraries, suing booksellers, and bringing obscenity charges against authors was among the organization's tactics, and it worked. Between 1927 and 1929, over 60 titles were banned in Boston, the country. But why were the late 20s such a flashpoint in America's book banning history? As historian Paul Boyer argues, book censorship was a means of reacting to and feeling in control of the changes brought by the turbulent 1920s. And it seems like in trying to control access to ideas, those doing the banning were trying to control where the culture was going. Boston wasn't alone in its censorship-happy elite societies. During the Jim Crow era, the Daughters of the Confederacy successfully pushed for bans of textbooks that did not paint a sympathetic narrative of the South and the Civil War. For the Daughters, books, especially historical scholarship and historical memory, were, according to Cox, a powerful tool of persuasion. Beyond controlling historical narratives, book banning and burnings have also historically functioned to silence and even erase ideas seen as dangerous by those in power. The most glaring example occurred in Nazi Germany. On May 10th, 1933, a crowd of almost 40,000 students gathered around a bonfire outside the Humboldt University of Berlin. They cheered as someone threw a bust of Jewish intellectual Magnus Hirschfeld into the fire. The crowd then threw thousands of volumes from the Institute's library into the fire, along with other books by Jewish authors and anyone they considered to be un-German. Book burning has long been as much a powerful symbol as it has been a practical way to prevent those seeking certain types of knowledge from acquiring it. While book censorship has been around for a long time, the charges themselves have remained fairly consistent. These books instill young people with the wrong values and thus undermine social order. These days, the justification that some organizations and library board enthusiasts use to challenge and or ban books have retained a similar flavor. Specifically, they tend to fall into two camps. One, books that contain sexual content or the suggestion of sexual difference, and two, books that portray U.S. history. PEN America, an organization that advocates for the freedom of expression, assembled an index of school book bans to track trends about which books have been targeted over a recent 9-month period. The results were instructive. 41% had protagonists or prominent secondary characters of color, and 22% directly addressed race and racism. A third of books explicitly addressed queer themes or had queer protagonists. 1/4 contained sexual content ranging from sexual encounters to information about puberty, sex, or relationships. And 25% were history books, biographies, or featured themes about rights and activism. But this recent wave of censorship has not gone unnoticed, and librarians have been mounting their counteroffensive. When their workers aren't busy penning screeds against censorship, some libraries have been lending out books to non-residents as a way of broadening access. The Brooklyn Public Library has an unbanned books program which provides ebook access to people in places where book banning is prominent, like Oklahoma, by using QR codes. Or as a Washington Washington Post headline put it, you can ban a book, but can you stop teens from finding it online? Another encouraging sign is the attention that book banning has been receiving in the media in recent months.
But hey, at least we've moved past actually burning books.
Mom, let me throw some.
Okay, maybe not.